Have you ever said something in the heat of the moment and later regretted it? Or found yourself caught in a cycle of negative or hurtful speech? What if I told you that our words have the power to shape our lives and the lives of those around us in ways we might not fully realize? Welcome to this eye-opening series on controlling your tongue, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Buddhism. Imagine this. You're having a conversation with a friend, and without thinking, you blurt out something that you later wish you could take back. The damage is done, and now there's tension between you two. This common scenario highlights how our words can have far-reaching effects, often more than we anticipate. In Buddhism, the way we speak is not just about etiquette or manners. It's a fundamental part of our ethical practice and personal growth. In this series, we'll delve into how Buddhist teachings can guide us in mastering our speech, leading to a more harmonious and mindful life. Each part of this video will uncover practical insights and transformative advice to help you control your tongue in a way that aligns with Buddhist principles. We'll explore how our speech reflects our inner state and how it influences our relationships and our karma. Before we dive in, let me take a moment to welcome you to Wisdom Woven. If you find our content valuable, there's one small thing you could do to help us continue bringing you insightful videos. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. Your support makes a huge difference. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of wisdom seekers. Now, let's embark on this journey together. We'll start by exploring why controlling our speech is so important and how Buddhist teachings can help us achieve this. So, stay tuned and let's discover the power of mindful communication. Understanding the impact. Words as seeds of karma. Let's begin by understanding the profound impact our words can have. In Buddhism, we often talk about karma, the law of cause and effect. Just as our actions have consequences, so do our words. Imagine your words as seeds you plant in the garden of your life. What kind of garden do you want to grow? When we speak, we're not just throwing words into the air. Each word has the potential to create something new. If we speak with kindness and truth, we're planting seeds that can lead to positive outcomes. On the other hand, if we speak with anger or deceit, we're planting seeds that may bring about negative results. Think about a time when someone said something kind to you. How did it make you feel? It probably lifted your spirits and made you smile. Now, recall a moment when someone's harsh words hurt you. The pain from those words might have lingered for a long time. This shows how powerful our speech can be. In Buddhism, speech is one of the key areas of practice. It's part of the ethical conduct that helps us lead a more mindful life. According to Buddhist teachings, right speech is essential for cultivating good karma. Right speech means speaking truthfully, kindly, and with purpose. It's not just about avoiding lies. It's about ensuring that our words contribute to the well-being of ourselves and others. Think of your mind as a pot of water. When the water is clear, you can see your reflection clearly. But if the water is muddy, it's hard to see anything. Similarly, when our mind is clear and peaceful, our words are more likely to be clear and beneficial. But when our mind is clouded with anger or confusion, our words can become muddy and harmful. Buddhism teaches us that controlling our speech begins with understanding the nature of our mind. When we are mindful of our thoughts and feelings, we can better manage what we say. This mindfulness helps us avoid speaking out of anger, fear, or misunderstanding. To practice right speech, start by being aware of your words before you speak. Ask yourself if what you are about to say is true, kind, and useful. If it isn't, it might be better to remain silent. Silence is sometimes the best choice, especially when our words might cause harm. Consider the story of the Buddha and the wise man who never spoke. This man was known for his silence and calm demeanor. People would come to him for advice, and instead of giving long lectures, he would offer simple, wise words. His restraint in speech made his words more powerful and respected. This illustrates that sometimes choosing to speak less can have a more profound impact. Another important aspect of right speech is avoiding gossip and harmful talk. Gossip can spread negativity and create divisions among people. It's important to be aware of the content and intent of our conversations. Ask yourself, is this conversation helpful? Is it contributing to harmony or creating discord? The Buddhist practice of right speech also involves being honest. Honesty doesn't mean being brutally frank or hurting others with the truth. It means being clear and truthful without malicious intent. It's about finding the balance between honesty and compassion. In summary, our words are powerful tools that shape our lives and our karma. By practicing mindfulness and right speech, we plant seeds that can lead to positive outcomes. The next time you speak, remember that your words can either nurture or harm. Choose wisely, and let your speech reflect the clarity and kindness of a peaceful mind. The Four Noble Truths in Right Speech. Today, I want to talk to you about something very important: the connection between the Four Noble Truths and right speech. The Four Noble Truths are the foundation of Buddhist teachings. They tell us about suffering, its cause, its end, and the path to end it. Right speech is one of the steps on this path, known as the Noble Eightfold Path. How we speak is not just about communication. It's about creating harmony and reducing suffering in our lives and in the lives of others. Imagine this. You're talking to a friend who's feeling down. You could choose to say something kind and supportive, or you can make a careless remark that makes them feel even worse. The words you choose can either uplift someone or add to their suffering. The Four Noble Truths remind us that suffering is a part of life, but they also tell us we have the power to reduce it. Right speech is one of the ways we can do this. What exactly is right speech? It means speaking truthfully, kindly, and thoughtfully. It's about choosing words that do not harm, but help. In Buddhism, words are seen as tools. Like any tool, they can be used to build something beautiful or to destroy. Right speech encourages us to use our words to build understanding, compassion, and peace. The first noble truth tells us that suffering exists. It's something everyone experiences. Sometimes, our own words can be a source of suffering. Think about a time when someone's words hurt you. Maybe they said something unkind or unfair. That pain can linger, can it? Now, think about a time when your own words caused someone else pain. How did that make you feel? The second noble truth teaches us that suffering has a cause. Often, this cause is attachment, craving, or aversion. But it can also be careless or harmful speech. When we speak out of anger, jealousy, or pride, we create suffering for ourselves and others. The third noble truth tells us that suffering can end. There's a way out. Right speech is one of the steps on this path to end suffering. By choosing our words carefully, we can reduce the pain we cause and start to create more happiness and peace. The fourth noble truth shows us the path that leads to the end of suffering. This path is known as the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech is a key part of this path. It's a simple idea, but it takes practice and mindfulness to make it a part of our daily lives. We have to pay attention to what we say, how we say it, and why we say it. To practice right speech, we can ask ourselves a few simple questions before speaking. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these questions is no, then maybe it's better not to say it. This doesn't mean we can't speak our minds or share our thoughts. It just means we should be thoughtful and considerate in how we do it. Right speech also involves listening. Listening with an open heart and without judgment. When we listen to others, we create a space for understanding and compassion. We make others feel heard and valued. This is a powerful way to reduce suffering and build strong, positive relationships. In everyday life, practicing right speech might look like this. You hear a rumor about a friend. Instead of spreading it, you choose to keep it to yourself because you don't know if it's true and it could cause harm. Or you're in a heated argument, and instead of shouting back in anger, you take a deep breath and speak calmly. These are small choices, but they can make a big difference. The Four Noble Truths remind us that we all have the potential to end suffering, both for ourselves and others. By practicing right speech, we take a step on this path. We begin to use our words not as weapons, but as tools for healing and connection. We become more mindful of the impact our speech has on the world around us. Remember, it's not about being perfect. We all make mistakes. What's important is that we make an effort to be aware of our speech and its effects. When we slip up, we can acknowledge it, learn from it, and try to do better next time. This is the essence of practice. The journey to right speech is ongoing. It's something we work on every day, moment by moment. But the rewards are worth it. As we become more mindful of our speech, we begin to notice a change. Our relationships become more harmonious, our minds become more peaceful, and our hearts become more compassionate. In the end, right speech is about living in a way that reduces suffering and brings more happiness into the world. It's about making conscious choices that reflect the values of kindness, honesty, and respect. When we practice right speech, we're not just following a rule. We're embodying a way of life that honors the humanity in ourselves and others. So, as you go about your day, remember the power of your words. Use them wisely. Speak with intention. Listen with an open heart. And always strive to practice right speech. This is how we bring the wisdom of the Four Noble Truths into our everyday lives. This is how we walk the path of peace. Mindfulness, the first step to controlling speech. When we talk about controlling our speech, the first thing we need to understand is mindfulness. Mindfulness means being fully aware of our thoughts, words, and actions in the present moment. It's like shining a light on what's happening right now without letting our minds wander. Imagine you're walking through a beautiful garden. You see the flowers, hear the birds, and feel the warmth of the sun. If you're truly present, you can enjoy these moments fully. But if your mind is elsewhere, you might miss the beauty around you. The same is true for our words. When we're not mindful, we might say things that hurt others or ourselves, without even realizing it. In Buddhism, mindfulness is the key to understanding our own minds and actions. It's about being aware of how our speech affects our inner peace and our relationships. If we're mindful, we notice when our words are becoming harsh or unkind. We catch ourselves before we say something that might cause harm. Let's look at a simple practice to help with this. Before you speak, take a moment to pause and breathe. Ask yourself these questions. Is what I'm about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This pause helps you to reflect on your words and make sure they align with your values. It's a small step that can make a big difference in how you communicate. Mindfulness also involves listening. When we truly listen to others, we're more likely to respond thoughtfully. It's easy to react quickly, especially if we're upset or stressed. But if we take the time to listen and understand the other person's perspective, we're more likely to choose our words carefully. Another aspect of mindfulness is being aware of our emotions. Often, our speech is driven by how we feel. If we're angry or frustrated, our words might be sharp or critical. By recognizing our emotions and taking a moment to calm down, we can prevent ourselves from speaking out of anger or frustration. In Buddhist practice, mindfulness of speech is also about cultivating positive habits. This means speaking in a way that promotes harmony and understanding. It's about being honest, but also being gentle. It's about choosing words that uplift rather than tear down. Consider the story of a monk who was known for his calm and measured speech. One day, someone came to him with harsh words and accusations. Instead of reacting defensively, the monk listened patiently and responded with kindness. His mindful response helped to defuse the situation and created a space for peaceful dialogue. Practicing mindfulness with our speech doesn't mean we'll never make mistakes. It means we're making an effort to be aware and to improve. Each time we pause and reflect, we're strengthening our ability to communicate mindfully. Remember, mindfulness is like a muscle. The more we practice, the stronger it becomes. And as we become more mindful of our speech, we start to notice positive changes in our relationships and our own sense of well-being. So, as you go through your day, take a moment to practice mindfulness in your speech. Notice how being aware of your words can transform your interactions and bring more peace into your life. With each mindful word, you're taking a step towards a more harmonious and compassionate way of communicating. The role of compassion in communication. To speak with compassion is to truly understand the heart of another. In our daily interactions, it is easy to forget this simple truth. When we let our words flow from a place of genuine care, we transform our conversations into acts of kindness. Let us explore how compassion can guide our speech and create a more harmonious world. Imagine you are at a family gathering and a disagreement arises. The temptation to react harshly or defend yourself strongly can be overwhelming. Yet, if you pause and choose to respond with compassion, the entire dynamic of the conversation can shift. Compassionate speech means considering the feelings and perspectives of others before speaking. It is about choosing words that uplift rather than harm. In Buddhism, compassion is more than a feeling. It is an active practice. When we speak compassionately, we are aligning ourselves with the Buddhist principle of right speech, which is part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech encourages us to avoid lying, gossiping, and speaking harshly. Instead, it guides us to speak truthfully, kindly, and helpfully. Consider this. When we are compassionate, we are not just avoiding harm. We are actively contributing to the well-being of others. For instance, if a friend is going through a tough time, offering words of support and encouragement rather than criticism or advice can make a significant difference. Your compassionate words become a source of comfort and strength for them. It's important to remember that compassion in communication also involves listening. When we truly listen to others, we are practicing empathy. We are putting ourselves in their shoes and understanding their feelings and experiences. This empathetic approach helps us respond in a way that acknowledges their emotions and needs. As we cultivate compassion in our speech, we also foster a more positive environment around us. Compassionate communication helps build trust and strengthen relationships. It allows us to connect with others on a deeper level and resolve conflicts more peacefully. When we approach conversations with a heart full of compassion, we create a space where others feel valued and heard. One simple practice to enhance compassionate communication is to take a moment before you speak. Ask yourself, is what I am about to say kind? Is it necessary? Will it help? This pause allows you to align your words with your intention to be compassionate. It helps you choose responses that are not only thoughtful, but also constructive. In Buddhist teachings, the concept of loving kindness, metta, is central to compassionate speech. Metta is an unconditional love and kindness that extends to all beings, including ourselves. When we practice metta in our communication, we are fostering a sense of connection and goodwill. This practice encourages us to extend our compassion even to those who may challenge or oppose us. By integrating compassion into our daily interactions, we can transform not only our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. Compassionate speech is a reflection of a mindful and caring heart. It helps us navigate conflicts with grace and build relationships that are grounded in mutual respect and understanding. As you continue to explore the role of compassion in your speech, remember that it is a journey of continuous growth. Each conversation is an opportunity to practice and refine this skill. With time and dedication, compassionate communication becomes a natural part of who we are, enriching our lives and the lives of others. In summary, compassion is the heart of mindful speech. It guides us to communicate with kindness, empathy, and respect. By embracing compassion, we align ourselves with the deeper values of Buddhism and contribute to a more harmonious and understanding world. Let each word you speak be a reflection of the compassion within you, and watch as it transforms your interactions and relationships. The role of compassion in communication. In the quiet moments of our lives, when we are alone and still, we may begin to understand the true power of compassion. Compassion is more than just a feeling. It's a way of being, a way of speaking, and a way of acting that reflects our deep care for others. In Buddhism, compassion is a core principle, and it guides how we interact with the world around us. When we communicate with compassion, our words become a source of healing rather than harm. Think of a time when someone spoke to you with genuine kindness and understanding. Their words likely made you feel valued and respected. This is the essence of compassionate communication, to uplift others and foster goodwill. Compassionate speech is not just about being nice or polite. It's about being mindful of how our words impact others. Every time we speak, we have the choice to either contribute to someone's suffering or to alleviate it. In Buddhism, this understanding is deeply rooted in the practice of right speech, which is part of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right speech means speaking in ways that are truthful, kind, and beneficial. Imagine you are in a disagreement with a loved one. Instead of letting anger and frustration dictate your words, take a moment to breathe deeply and reflect. Ask yourself, how can I express my feelings in a way that is gentle and understanding? This simple act of pause can transform a heated exchange into a meaningful dialogue. Compassionate communication also involves listening with empathy. When we truly listen, we open our hearts to the experiences and emotions of others. This type of listening is not just hearing the words, but understanding the feelings behind them. When we listen with compassion, we validate others' experiences and show them that their feelings matter. It's also important to remember that compassion starts with ourselves. We must speak to ourselves with kindness and avoid harsh self-criticism. By nurturing a compassionate inner dialogue, we naturally extend this compassion to others. This self-compassion helps us to remain calm and balanced, even in challenging situations. In daily life, practicing compassionate speech can be as simple as offering a word of encouragement, expressing gratitude, or providing support during difficult times. These small acts of kindness can have a profound impact on others and strengthen our relationships. When we commit to speaking with compassion, we create a ripple effect that touches many lives. Our words become instruments of peace and understanding, fostering a more harmonious world. Remember, each interaction is an opportunity to practice compassion and to make a positive difference in someone's life. As we continue this journey of mindful communication, let us embrace the practice of compassionate speech. Let our words be a reflection of our deepest care and concern for others. By doing so, we align ourselves with the true essence of Buddhist teachings and contribute to a more compassionate and understanding world. Silence, the power of restraint. In the stillness of silence, we find a space where our thoughts can settle, and our words can be chosen with care. As a Zen master, I understand that silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a powerful tool in our journey toward mindful speech. Imagine you are in a room full of people, each person eager to share their thoughts. Amid this noise, what happens when you choose to stay silent? You might notice that silence brings clarity. It allows you to reflect before you speak, helping you avoid hasty words that might cause harm. In Buddhist practice, silence is seen as a way to cultivate wisdom and compassion. When we choose silence, we create a moment of pause. This pause helps us to listen deeply to ourselves and others. It offers us a chance to understand our own thoughts and feelings better. Often, when we speak without this pause, we react impulsively, driven by emotions rather than wisdom. Silence helps us to step back and respond thoughtfully. Silence also has a profound effect on our relationships. When you practice being quiet at the right moments, you give others the space to express themselves fully. This shows respect and empathy, which are essential qualities in Buddhist teachings. By listening more and speaking less, you foster deeper connections with those around you. Moreover, silence is a practice of restraint. In Buddhism, restraint is not about suppressing your thoughts or feelings, but about choosing how and when to express them. It's about understanding that not every thought needs to be spoken and that words should be used wisely. In daily life, we can practice this restraint by observing our speech patterns. Notice when you feel the urge to speak, especially in moments of anger or frustration. Instead of reacting immediately, take a moment to breathe and reflect. This simple practice can transform the way you communicate, making your words more intentional and meaningful. By embracing silence, you allow yourself to respond rather than react. This shift from reaction to response is crucial in Buddhist practice. It helps you to act from a place of calm and wisdom rather than from a place of impulse. When you find yourself in a heated conversation or an emotionally charged situation, remember the power of silence. It can prevent misunderstandings and reduce conflicts. It gives you the opportunity to choose words that are kind, helpful, and appropriate for the situation. In the practice of Zen, silence is not just about physical quiet, but also about mental stillness. It encourages us to quiet our minds and listen to our inner voice. This inner silence helps us to speak with clarity and purpose. Ultimately, silence teaches us patience and self-control. It reminds us that sometimes the best response is no response at all. By practicing silence, we learn to value the space between words, recognizing that this space can be just as powerful as the words themselves. In summary, silence is a tool of wisdom and compassion. It allows us to choose our words carefully, fosters better relationships, and enhances our understanding of ourselves and others. By integrating silence into your life, you practice restraint and mindfulness, aligning your speech with the principles of Buddhism. Embrace the power of silence, and let it guide your journey toward more mindful and compassionate communication. Practical techniques for mindful speech. In the quiet moments of our lives, we find that speech is like a river flowing from the depths of our being. To navigate this river wisely, we must first understand how to steer it gently and purposefully. Today, we will explore practical techniques for mindful speech, drawing from the simplicity and clarity of Buddhist teachings. Imagine a calm lake, its surface perfectly still. This is what our minds can be like when we practice mindful speech. Just as the lake reflects its surroundings without distortion, our speech can reflect our true selves with clarity and compassion. To reach this state, we need to develop a few key habits. 1. Pause before speaking. Before you utter a word, pause. This simple practice allows you to check in with yourself and ensure that what you are about to say is thoughtful and kind. It's like taking a moment to observe the calm surface of the lake before making a ripple. In Buddhism, this is akin to the practice of right speech, where every word is chosen with care and intention. 2. Reflect on your intentions. Ask yourself, what is my intention behind this speech? Am I speaking to uplift and support? Or am I reacting out of habit or emotion? By clarifying your intention, you align your words with your values and the well-being of others. In Buddhist teachings, our intentions shape our actions and contribute to our karma. When our intentions are pure, our speech naturally follows suit. 3. Practice empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes. Consider how your words might affect them. Practicing empathy allows you to speak with compassion and understanding. It's like adjusting the flow of the river to be gentle and considerate, rather than rushing and potentially causing harm. Buddhism teaches us to see beyond our own perspectives and connect with others' feelings and experiences. 4. Use positive and constructive language. Focus on using words that build up rather than tear down. Positive language fosters a nurturing environment, whether at home, work, or in social interactions. When we choose words that encourage and support, we contribute to a more harmonious world. This is reflected in Buddhist teachings that emphasize the importance of kindness and positive communication. 5. Listen actively. Mindful speech is not just about how we speak, but also how we listen. Active listening means truly hearing what others are saying without planning your response while they are speaking. It's like being a patient gardener who listens to the needs of their plants before taking action. Buddhism values deep listening as a means of understanding and connecting with others more deeply. 6. Be aware of your body language. Our nonverbal cues often speak louder than words. Pay attention to your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. These should align with the message you wish to convey. In Buddhism, it is understood that our entire being, not just our words, communicates our inner state. Harmonizing our speech with our body language creates a coherent and respectful communication style. 7. Practice forgiveness and apology. When you realize you've spoken out of turn or hurt someone with your words, practice forgiveness and offer a sincere apology. This act of humility and repair can mend relationships and restore harmony. Buddhism teaches that acknowledging our mistakes and seeking forgiveness is a crucial part of personal growth and maintaining harmonious relationships. 8. Set aside time for reflection. Regularly take time to reflect on your speech and interactions. Ask yourself what went well and what could be improved. This practice helps you grow and adapt, like a river learning to navigate new terrain. In Buddhist practice, self-reflection is a key tool for personal development and refining our approach to speech. 9. Develop a mindful speech routine. Create a routine or ritual that helps you maintain mindfulness in your speech. This could be a daily meditation focused on communication or setting intentions for your interactions. Establishing such practices supports a consistent and mindful approach to how you express yourself. 10. Surround yourself with supportive influences. Engage with people who value mindful communication and support your journey. Their presence can inspire and reinforce your own practice of mindful speech. In Buddhism, the company we keep can significantly influence our own behavior and mindset, guiding us toward better practices and greater wisdom. By integrating these practical techniques into your daily life, you will find that your speech becomes a tool for harmony and understanding rather than conflict. Just as a river, when guided gently, nourishes and sustains life, so too does mindful speech enhance the quality of our interactions and relationships. Embrace these practices and let your words flow with clarity and compassion, reflecting the peace and wisdom within. Overcoming anger and resentment in speech. In the quiet moments of our lives, when we are alone with our thoughts, it becomes clear how much our inner feelings shape the way we communicate. As a Zen master, I invite you to look within and recognize the deep connection between our emotions and our speech. Anger and resentment are like heavy clouds that darken the sky of our minds, and they often pour out through our words, leaving a trail of discord and regret. Imagine holding a hot coal in your hand. You know it burns and will cause you pain, yet you continue to grasp it. This is much like holding on to anger and resentment. These feelings are not just harmful to others, but also to ourselves. They burn us from the inside, affecting our peace of mind and clarity. Our speech, driven by these negative emotions, can become harsh, cutting, and filled with bitterness. In Buddhism, we learn that speech is a reflection of our inner state. When our minds are clouded with anger, it is challenging to speak with kindness and compassion. The first step in overcoming this is mindfulness. By being aware of our emotions as they arise, we can begin to untangle ourselves from them. When we feel anger or resentment building, we can pause and take a moment to breathe deeply. This simple act of mindfulness can create a space between our feelings and our words. One powerful practice is to ask ourselves a simple question before speaking. Will my words bring peace or further conflict? This question helps us to filter our speech through a lens of wisdom and compassion. If our words are likely to cause more harm, it might be best to hold them back and instead speak when we are calm and centered. Let us consider a small story from Zen tradition. There was once a monk who was known for his calm and gentle speech. One day, someone insulted him harshly, but he did not react. Later, a student asked him, "Master, how can you remain so calm when others speak badly of you?" The master replied, "When you are not hungry, the food cannot disturb you. When you have no anger within, the words of others cannot touch you." This story teaches us that the key to controlling our speech lies in controlling our inner state. By letting go of anger and resentment, we free ourselves from the chains that bind us to harmful speech. It's not about suppressing our emotions, but understanding and transforming them. By cultivating patience and compassion, we can begin to speak in ways that heal and uplift. In Zen practice, we often use meditation to help us gain insight into our emotions and their effects on our speech. Sitting quietly, observing our breath, and reflecting on our responses can help us understand how our inner turmoil affects our words. Over time, with practice, we learn to respond to situations with greater clarity and kindness. Another useful approach is to practice gratitude. Focusing on what we appreciate in others and in our lives can shift our perspective from one of anger and resentment to one of positivity and warmth. When we are grateful, our speech naturally reflects this positive energy, making our interactions more harmonious. Ultimately, overcoming anger and resentment in speech is a journey of self-discovery and transformation. It requires patience and persistence, but each step we take towards mindful communication brings us closer to a life of peace and fulfillment. Embrace this practice with an open heart, and you will find that your words become a source of wisdom and compassion, enriching your life and the lives of those around you. Transformative stories from Buddhist teachings. In our journey of controlling our tongue, let us turn to the stories from Buddhist teachings that offer deep wisdom and practical guidance. These stories, though simple, carry powerful lessons about the impact of our speech and the path to transforming our communication. Imagine a story from the Buddhist time. There was once a man named Kema who was known for his sharp tongue. He would often speak harshly, causing discord and unhappiness wherever he went. One day, a wise monk came to Kema and told him a story. The monk said, "Imagine a garden where beautiful flowers are growing. If you were to water the flowers with pure water, they would bloom and spread their fragrance. But if you were to pour dirty water on them, they would wither and turn foul." Similarly, our words are like the water we use on the garden of our lives. If we speak kindly and thoughtfully, our relationships will flourish. But if we speak with harshness and anger, we cause harm and suffering. Kema was deeply moved by this story. He began to reflect on his own speech and realized how much harm he had caused with his words. He decided to practice mindfulness in his speech and to speak with kindness and compassion. Over time, he noticed a remarkable change in his relationships and in the way others responded to him. His transformation became a source of inspiration for others around him. Another story involves a disciple of the Buddha named Ananda. Ananda was known for his gentle and calming presence, but he sometimes struggled with speaking up in difficult situations. One day, he approached the Buddha with a question about how to balance speaking the truth with kindness. The Buddha shared a story about a wise king who, though he had the power to command and control, chose to speak only words that were beneficial and uplifting to his people. The king's wisdom lay in his ability to discern when to speak and when to remain silent. He understood that words, even when true, could either build up or break down. The Buddha encouraged Ananda to always consider the impact of his words and to ensure that they were used to promote harmony and understanding. Ananda took this lesson to heart and practiced speaking with intention and care. He learned to listen deeply and to choose his words in a way that fostered peace and connection. His efforts not only improved his own communication, but also enriched the lives of those around him. These stories illustrate that our words have the power to shape our reality and the experiences of those we interact with. They remind us that, just as a gardener tends to their plants with care, we must tend to our speech with mindfulness and intention. In Buddhism, the practice of right speech is not merely about avoiding harmful words, but also about actively cultivating words that bring joy, understanding, and compassion. It's about being aware of the impact our words have on others and striving to use our speech as a tool for healing and connection. As we reflect on these teachings, let us remember that every word we speak is an opportunity to contribute to the well-being of ourselves and others. By following the examples of Kema and Ananda, we can transform our communication and foster more harmonious and loving relationships in our lives. So, as we continue on our path, let us embrace the wisdom of these stories and commit ourselves to speaking with mindfulness and compassion. In doing so, we not only enrich our own lives, but also become a source of positivity and healing in the world around us. The ripple effect, how words shape our reality. My dear friends, let's sit together for a while and talk about the power of our words. You see, our words are like stones dropped into a pond. Each word we speak creates ripples, spreading outwards, touching everything in their path. These ripples are the effects our words have on the world around us. They go far beyond what we can see or hear in the moment. This is the ripple effect, and it's one of the most powerful forces we can tap into in our lives. Imagine a quiet lake, its surface calm and still. Now, imagine dropping a small stone into the water. Instantly, Ripples start to form, moving outwards in circles, touching every part of the lake. This is how our words work. Even a single word, spoken with intention or carelessness, can set off a chain of events that reach far beyond what we can imagine. In Buddhism, we learn that everything is interconnected. Nothing exists in isolation. This means our words have a direct impact on our reality. Think about it. How many times has a kind word lifted your spirits on a bad day? Or how often has a harsh comment stayed with you, even long after it was spoken? Our words shape the world around us, and they shape the world inside us too. When we speak, we are planting seeds. These seeds can grow into beautiful flowers or thorny weeds, depending on what we say. If we speak with kindness, love, and compassion, we plant seeds that grow into happiness and peace. But if we speak with anger, jealousy, or hatred, we plant seeds that grow into suffering and conflict. It's as simple as that. You might wonder, how can just a few words have such a powerful impact? Let me tell you a story. There was once a man who was very angry. One day, in a fit of rage, he shouted at his friend. His words were sharp and hurtful, like a sword. His friend was deeply hurt, and their friendship was broken. The angry man realized his mistake and felt sorry. He went to his friend to apologize, but the damage was already done. The hurt lingered, and their friendship was never the same again. This is the ripple effect of our words. Once spoken, they cannot be taken back. They continue to spread long after we have forgotten them. Our words do not just affect others. They also affect us. When we speak with kindness, our hearts become lighter. We feel at peace. But when we speak with harshness, we carry that burden in our hearts. It's like carrying a heavy load everywhere we go. This is why controlling our tongue is so important. By being mindful of our speech, we can create a reality that is full of peace and harmony, both for ourselves and for those around us. Let's talk about how we can practice this in our daily lives. The first step is mindfulness. Before we speak, we should take a moment to pause and think. Is what I am about to say true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If the answer is no, then perhaps it is better to remain silent. Silence can be a powerful form of communication too. Sometimes saying nothing is the most compassionate thing we can do. Another practice is to speak with intention. Our words should always have a purpose. They should uplift, inspire, and encourage. Even when we have to say something difficult, we can do it with care and respect. We should avoid speaking just for the sake of speaking. Words are precious. We should use them wisely. It's also important to listen. True communication is not just about speaking. It's about listening too. When we listen with full attention, we show respect to the other person. We make them feel valued. This creates a space of understanding and connection. And when we feel connected, our words naturally become more kind and loving. Let us remember that the ripple effect works both ways. Just as our words can spread negativity, they can also spread positivity. A single word of encouragement can brighten someone's day. A simple thank you can make someone feel appreciated. These small acts of kindness create ripples that spread far and wide, touching the lives of many. In our practice, we strive to create ripples of compassion and love. Every time we speak with kindness, we send out a wave of positivity that can change the world. This is not just a nice idea, it is a reality. Each one of us has the power to make a difference, simply by being mindful of our words. Let us be like the wise gardener, carefully tending to our garden of speech. Let us remove the weeds of anger and negativity, and plant seeds of kindness and compassion. In this way, we can create a world that is full of beauty, harmony, and peace. Remember, my friends, the power of our words is great. With every word we speak, we have the choice to create joy or sorrow, peace or conflict. Let us choose our words wisely. Let us speak with love and compassion. In doing so, we not only transform our own lives, but also the lives of those around us. This is the true ripple effect. Thank you for listening, and may your words always bring peace and happiness to the world. Conclusion: embracing a life of mindful speech. In our journey through controlling the tongue, we have explored the profound impact our words have on ourselves and others. Now, as we reach the end of this series, let's reflect on the essence of mindful speech and how embracing it can transform our lives. Imagine a life where every word you speak is chosen with care and kindness. It's a life where you communicate with compassion and clarity, and where your interactions are filled with understanding and respect. This is not just a distant ideal. It's something you can cultivate through mindful practice. In Buddhism, speech is more than just a form of communication. It's a reflection of our inner state. When we practice mindful speech, we align our words with our deepest values and intentions. This means speaking truthfully, gently, and constructively. By doing so, we not only improve our own lives but also contribute to the well-being of those around us. One of the key teachings is the concept of right speech from the Noble Eightfold Path. This involves avoiding false speech, divisive speech, harsh speech, and idle chatter. Instead, we aim to speak in ways that are truthful, harmonious, kind, and purposeful. It's about creating a positive impact through our words, fostering harmony and understanding. To live a life of mindful speech, start by paying attention to your words. Before you speak, pause and reflect. Is what you are about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This simple practice can make a big difference in how your words are received and how they affect your relationships. Consider the ripple effect of your words. Just as a stone thrown into a pond creates ripples that spread outward, so do our words. They can either create waves of positivity or negativity. By choosing our words wisely, we can ensure that the ripples we create are ones of kindness and wisdom. In your daily interactions, practice listening as much as speaking. Often, we speak without truly listening to the other person. By being fully present and attentive, you not only improve your own communication, but also show respect and empathy to others. This balance of speaking and listening is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships. Remember, it's okay to make mistakes. The path to mindful speech is a journey, not a destination. When you slip up, use it as an opportunity to learn and grow. Reflect on what happened, and think about how you can approach similar situations differently in the future. As we conclude this series, I encourage you to take these teachings to heart. Embrace the practice of mindful speech in your daily life. Notice the changes it brings to your interactions, your relationships, and your inner peace. By aligning your words with your deepest values, you create a life of harmony and fulfillment. Thank you for joining us on this journey. I hope the insights and practices shared have inspired you to cultivate a more mindful approach to communication. May your words be a source of wisdom and compassion, and may you continue to grow in understanding and kindness.